All right, today we are putting on our detective hats. We're going to investigate a condition that is, let's be honest, super common and super frustrating. So get ready, because we're about to follow the clues and crack the case of dermatitis. I mean, it's maddening, right? That constant itch, the redness, the flare-ups that seem to pop up out of absolutely nowhere. Well, we're going to dig in and follow the evidence to figure out what is really going on when your skin feels like it's under siege. So, first things first, let's get our facts straight. The word dermatitis isn't actually one single disease. You should think of it more like a pattern, a specific way your skin reacts. It's really just the code name for how your skin shows inflammation no matter what's causing it. And that's our first big clue in this investigation. Now, what's really wild is how let's call it the crime scene, changes so dramatically over time. An acute reaction, it starts out wet and angry, with redness and blisters. But if it sticks around, it can become chronic, where all that scratching leads to dry, thickened, almost leathery skin. There's a fancy word for it, lichenification. It's the same underlying issue, just wearing a different disguise. Okay, let's open our first case file, atopic dermatitis. And in this case, the call is coming from inside the house. The trouble starts right inside your own body. This definition is a huge clue. See that word, hyperreactivity? That tells us the body's own defense system is totally overreacting to things that should be completely harmless. This points our investigation directly at an internal cause, one that's rooted in our genetics. And listen, this isn't some rare, mysterious condition. We're talking up to 1 in 5 people are dealing with this. So if this sounds like you, believe me, you are far from alone. And the genetic link? Whoa, it is incredibly strong. Get this, if both of your parents have atopic dermatitis, your risk of having it too jumps to a massive 70%. That is a crystal clear case of inherited susceptibility. So here's the absolute key to understanding atopic dermatitis. I want you to picture your skin as a brick wall. In healthy skin, the bricks, those are your cells, are held together by really strong mortar. But with atopic dermatitis, a genetic defect, often in a protein called filaggrin, makes that mortar weak. So the wall gets leaky, moisture escapes, making the skin dry, and all sorts of irritants can sneak right in. All right. Let's switch gears and open our second case file. This time, the culprit is an outside intruder. We're talking about contact dermatitis, and it is all about what your skin touches. But here's the thing. Not all contact reactions are created equal. A full 80% of cases are from irritants. These are substances that would basically damage anyone's skin. Only about 20% are true allergies, where your immune system is the one being specifically triggered. And the difference between these two is absolutely critical. An irritant reaction is pretty simple, cause and effect, right? A harsh chemical damages the skin. It can happen to literally anyone. But an allergic reaction, well, that's a case of mistaken identity. Your immune system has been sensitized before, and now it wrongly flags something harmless, like nickel, as a dangerous enemy, launching a full-on attack 12 to 48 hours later. The list of potential suspects here is long, and they can hide in plain sight. We're talking about your jewelry, your favorite perfume, the latex gloves you wear to clean, or even the antibiotic cream you put on a simple cut. So identifying these intruders is a huge part of cracking the case. Our final case file is a bit different. In this scenario, the skin problem isn't the primary crime. It's more like a symptom of a much bigger systemic breakdown. This is stasis dermatitis, and you can think of it as a bad plumbing problem. So the trouble here starts deep inside, with the veins in your lower legs. When they aren't working efficiently to pump blood back to the heart, fluid starts to leak out and pool up. This causes inflammation from the inside out. The skin, in this case, is just the victim of this internal pressure problem. Now, the detective's clues for this one are classic. The profile is usually an older patient. The location is almost always the lower legs. You'll see swelling, that's called edema, and discoloration from leaking blood cells. And in chronic cases, the skin can get hard and even break down into ulcers. Okay, so we've identified our main suspects, the inside job, the outside threat, and the flow problem. So now what? How do we manage the situation and restore order? It's time to open the detective's playbook. The strategy is actually pretty straightforward. It focuses on 4 key missions. First, you've got to get rid of the triggers. Second, and this is so vital, rebuild that damaged skin barrier. Third, calm the immediate symptoms, like the itch. And finally, you got to play the long game to prevent future flare-ups. Let's just zoom in on goal number 2, because it is so important. This quote really gets to the heart of it. Moisturizing isn't just about feeling less dry. It is an active construction project. You are literally rebuilding that brick wall, sealing the cracks to keep precious moisture in and all those nasty irritants out. Okay, pop quiz. Here's a classic situation that trips a lot of people up. When you're in that acute, weeping, oozing stage of dermatitis, what's the right move? Your first instinct might be to just slather on a thick, heavy cream, but that could be exactly the wrong call. And this brings us to a fundamental and kind of surprising rule of managing dermatitis. If it's wet, dry it. If it's dry, wet it. I know, it sounds backwards, but when skin is oozing, you use wet compresses that you change out every few minutes. The evaporation actually cools and gently dries the area. But for dry, chronic skin, you use a wet soak that you leave on, letting the skin absorb all that moisture. And here is the golden rule for all moisturizing, no matter what: timing. The absolute most effective moment to put on any emollient is right after a shower or bath. We're talking within 3 to 5 minutes. See, you're not really adding moisture, you're trapping the water that's already on your skin. This simple habit is the absolute foundation of good barrier repair. At the end of the day, cracking the case of dermatitis is all about investigation and consistent action. It's about figuring out your skin's unique triggers and then committing to rebuilding its natural defenses. So the real question isn't just what irritates your skin, but what one thing you can do every single day to make it strong enough to face the world.